Good evening, everyone. My name is Theresa. I'm an alcoholic. They warned me about that guy. I still wasn't ready for it. Grateful to be here. Grateful to be sober because of a loving God. There's a lot of y'all. Okay. I got a coffee with a couple of shots of espresso, so it might kick in a minute. And if I sound like I'm buzzing, I am. Okay. I started to say, thank you for whoever that was. I started to say, who invited me here? So it was him. Okay. Grateful to be here. Grateful to be sober because of a loving God. Thank you for inviting me to your meeting and coming back out here. I was just out here in Park City a couple of weeks ago. See some of y'all from there. No pressure. That's a lot of pressure when there's a lot of people. People don't realize it. I'm like, oh my God, everybody's coming here to see you. No pressure. Like, what if I'm not on my game tonight? But anyway, I always have a share before I share, if you don't mind. It helps me out a little bit. And that is that I'm uncomfortable. This is awkward and intimidating. I just feel extremely vulnerable and exposed. And I know that people say, oh, it's just a bunch of drunks. I'm like, yeah, the most judgmental, self-righteous group of people. I'd rather talk in front of the PTA, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't help me, that's not comforting. Everybody shows up, especially newcomers, what you got to say, you know. And I appreciate the nervousness. I think it's good, I think it's healthy. I always say the day that I'm not is the day I probably need to sit down. I never knew that my experience can benefit others. I began with my sobriety date is March 29, 1990. But for the grace of God, sponsorship, fellowship, 12 steps, 12 traditions, 12 concepts, I've been with you all for the last 35 years. That's pretty wild, man. I'm now sober longer than I was drinking. Nice. I've grown up here in these rooms. It's crazy. I came to you at the age of 24. I just turned 60. This has become a working part of my mind and my body. But I don't ever want to forget her. Because if I get comfortable and rest on my laurels and forget, I'm down to repeat it. And I think it's only going to get worse. I want to welcome our new friends. Welcome home. We've been praying for you. In every meeting all over the world, there's a moment of silence and prayer, and that prayer is for you. So, but for the grace of God, you've been lifted up and brought into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm in AA, right? Where am I? Okay, just checking. I be doing a lot of AAs. I usually tell them I find out when I read, but you don't read too much. I'll be like, oh yeah, Al-Anon. Okay, we good. Cocaine Anonymous. Okay, we do recover. Anyway, okay. That's how I know where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? But y'all only read, what, the preamble or something? Anyway, okay. We ask you to keep coming back and don't leave 5 minutes before the miracle happens, and let us love you too. You can learn to love yourself. And it's going to be all right. I heard you don't have to take a drink again if you want to, and more importantly, even when you don't want to. And the program truly works. And although the newcomer is the most important person in the room, I do not know where I would be if it wasn't for the old timers. So for all the old timers in the house, thank you for my life and my sobriety. I still want what you have, and I need you. I need you to keep coming back, showing up week after week, sitting in that same seat. We all know it's your seat. Nobody sits in that seat. Because you let me know that I too can recover under all conditions and circumstances. I'm glad we don't get that well around here. I got a short period of time to share with you in a general way what it used to be like, what happened, and what we're like now. If you're new, there's a reason for that. In our literature, in the doctor's opinion, he talks about the message of depth and weight. It is the language of the heart. It is the music that we find in these rooms, that nobody else has been able to capture my attention the way you've captured mine. Nobody. I invite you to listen to similarities and not the differences, and you get to ask yourself questions. Like that happened to me. I felt that way too. And most importantly, perhaps this program can work for me. I will say thank you for allowing me to stay sober today. I share this often when I get up here. I'm like, I always feel like it's quite selfish a little bit when I come and share. And I'm like, it's almost like a one-night stand. You know what I'm saying? I always share that because that's how I be feeling in the end. I'm like, it was good for me. Was it good for you? I got mine. Did you get yours? You know what I'm saying? And then I like never see y'all again. You know what I'm saying? So I'm about to have a good old time. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. I mean, Bill does say we are lighter on our feet, you know? Well, and I am. Okay. So I'm not quite sure if you're going to get anything out of it, but I'm staying sober tonight. I'm willing to go to any lengths. It was raining cats and dogs over there in Salt Lake City. I'm glad it cleared up. I was telling them there was a joke since the first grade. I still laugh at it. Madalima, she was like, it's raining cats and dogs, and I stepped on a poodle. And I still be cracking up over that joke. Since the first grade. Every time I say it, I be like, ah, nobody laughs with me. I'm like, that's funny. Anyway. Oh, Lord. Okay. As the story goes. Whew. I tell this story a lot, y'all. And for those of you, like, you've been listening to the CD, and people heard me a couple weeks ago, and people say, I've been listening to you, that's great. Could you imagine? I'm the one that keeps telling it. And somehow, I think it's God just wants to make sure that I don't forget it. Although it seems that I'm so socially excited to be in front of people, I'm not. I will blend in and you won't even see me. I'm really good at being a fly on the wall. So God puts me in front of you. And when I tell this story, I remember. That's why I stay sober and I get excited. They talk about living 2 lifestyles in 1 lifetime. You can't tell me this program doesn't work, that miracles don't happen. When I listen to the story and I look at my life, I am still in awe and amazed of what this program can do. I'm born addicted. Man, I wish I had that story that I can tell you what it was like when I had that first drink and what it felt like when it went down and how it shifted and changed my perception and allowed me to feel a part of everything and everyone. Sometimes I try to go back and see, was there a time that my drinking, I was present for it and I experienced it, and I have yet to come up with that. My mother's an alcoholic. She died with 38 years, an admitted alcoholic, in Alcoholics Anonymous. And Mommy did not want me. She wanted my brother. She married my father. My mother's Puerto Rican. My father's African American. Daddy was an orphan. And he liked, I don't know, Puerto Ricans, we come in droves. I don't know if y'all, we do. We like, anyway. We're like very tribal. You know what I'm saying? And he was attracted to that. But Mommy just went with him to make her boyfriend jealous. And she ended up getting pregnant with my brother. They called it a shotgun wedding in the 60s, and she had to marry him. She hated my father. To the day she died. It's interesting. Mommy, even in the program, my nephew asked her, Mommy was a trip. My nephew was like, Abuela, that's grandmother in Spanish. Can you tell me stories about you and Grandpa? Excuse my expression, but she was like, I hate that motherfucker. That son of a bitch, he still owes me child support. You know what I mean? Mommy would say, my nephew tried to get stories from her. He'd be like, can you tell me what you did when you were a kid? She was like, we used to kill people, you know. I remember I was in the kitchen. I was like, okay, story time over. He was like, word? Anyway. I was like, it's the Alzheimer's. Anyway. But she couldn't stand him. But she did love my brother. She did not want another child, and my dad did. He wanted a big family. So the way my mother tells the story is that I'm a product of rape. My father's seen it completely different. And I didn't find that out until Daddy came to hear me share. I was in Arizona when he lived there, and I said that, and afterwards he was like, I didn't rape your mother. I was like, that's what she's been saying. Y'all gotta work that out. I've been hearing that story my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. So I was born addicted. Mommy took drugs, alcohol. She did a lot of things. She tried to abort me, fall down the stairs, sting hangers up inside of her. Like, she was really trying to get rid of me. She considered me to be extremely stubborn because I refused to die. And I was born a preemie, I was born sick, and I was born addicted. Mommy left me in the hospital, and she told my father, you wanted it, you can keep it away from me. I don't want to see it, I don't want to touch it, and I don't want to hear it. And it was my dad and my grandma that brought me home, abuela. That part of the story doesn't change. And like, I came in this world loaded. And they were taught to wean me off. You have to wean off a baby. You can't just stop them cold turkey. They could die. But they came up with this idea to leave me alone with Mommy. They wanted her to look at me and touch me or something. And Mommy said I started to cry. She kept saying, why am I hearing that thing? And she discovered she was alone with me. And her knee-jerk reaction was to take a pillow and begin to smother me. Get rid of me once and for all. And I don't know why she recalled hearing them say if you give her alcohol, she'll stop crying. Maybe I would have died that day. Instead, Mommy made sure that a bottle of alcohol stayed in my mouth. And the only time that bottle was to be removed was to be refilled. So I drank every day, all day, y'all. I came in this world with it, and I was consumed. It was the blood that ran through my veins, man. It was my oxygen. It was everything. Mommy didn't know that I was an alcoholic. We didn't know what alcoholism was. I always say, thank God for good sponsorship to teach me about alcoholism, because I'm drinking my whole life, and I sipped my drinks. Mommy wasn't anticipating that I would live. I was supposed to die. You don't give an infant alcohol and they survive. But instead, my body welcomed it, received it, and demanded more of it. So when I tell you, my name is Theresa, I'm an alcoholic, I understand what alcoholism is. I have an allergic reaction, an abnormality. It's amazing to me. Sometimes I ask people that are new or been here for a while, oh yes, I'm an alcoholic. Can you tell me why you say that? Oh, because I got in trouble, I lost my job. No, those are consequences. There are people who are problem drinkers have consequences. That's not what makes you an alcoholic. Are you bodily different? Something happens to us physiologically that does not happen to the average person. Just like the person who's allergic to strawberries or shellfish. And they can't do anything about what's happening to their body. And that's what happened to me with alcohol. I'm drinking and I'm supposed to die from it. I was sharing that with a grand sponsor. I was like, your daughter's allergic to peanuts? Well, the other day she made a mistake and she had peanuts and you noticed that she was breaking out, her throat was closing. Did you tell her, get it together, we have something to do, I don't have time for this? No. Is it because your daughter's incompetent, incapable, ill-willed, don't have morals and values. No, something is happening to her body that she cannot do anything about it. And that's what alcohol was for me. I survived it. And I drank every day, all day. The difference between the person who's allergic to shellfish or peanuts or any other allergy is they don't obsess over it every day. And I have an illness that only consists of two thoughts: how to or how not to. And so for the next 24 years, I lived my life clearly strategizing, plotting, and planning every waking moment around how to have a drink or how not to have a drink. And it was non-negotiable. Nothing and nobody got in between me and my booze. And I drank in my house. I don't need to go to no party and no peer pressure. I drank at home. And mommy would threaten me to not give me any if I didn't get A's or if I didn't do what she wanted. I grew up with what you call dysfunctional family. Most of my family members are alcoholics, addicts, pimps, dealers, hustlers. We're mafia. That's different from gangs. And we're also police officers, politicians, and priests. They're all the same. And we run the city. We run Puerto Rico. We run the streets of New York. These very character defects you talk about, we breed it on them, man. It's about respect and a way of life. Not walking around going, I'm insecure. I don't know nothing about that. I got my chest out. You know what I'm saying? You call that dysfunctional. My family is still like that to this day, y'all. Where most of you can't wait to get yours back, I have to stay away from the majority of mine. They'll rub off on me before I rub off on them. I hang around with them for a few minutes, boy. I jump right up in it, boy. We be sitting around talking about the feds and everything, you know what I mean? They came over and hustled us up in the wall. We had to get them. Like, yo, did you did that? You know, I'm like, I gotta go home. You know what I'm saying? I'm all up in how we working it out. You know what I mean? The system. We're like, time to go. It's all good. Those bathroom trips, you know what I mean? All right, next time I'm going to the bathroom. You know, I'm out. And I grew up with physical abuse, verbal abuse, and sexual abuse. And it was as though there was an announcement that said she is irrelevant, unimportant, and insignificant, defiant. She refuses to die. Nobody wants her. She does not matter. As a matter of fact, we can't stand her. So you can do with her whatever you wish. Let out all of your deviances, your frustrations, your angers, your pedophileness on her. Everybody did it. Men and women took turns with my body. I've been burned with cigarettes, pistol whipped, stabbed, poked with knives, black eyes, broken bones. I joke, my brother shot me in the ass. It was my fault. He said he was aiming for the chair. I was sitting on it. That's on you. So I lived like that for 24 years. I never questioned it. I didn't pray and ask that I run away from it. I didn't beg anybody to stop doing it. For you see, I was not present for my experience. Alcohol had me detached and disconnected. Yo, I had no heartbeat, man. I always had a smile on my face. I lived like that movie, Death Becomes Her. I be having broken bones sticking out. They be like, yo, your shoulder's disjointed. Put it back. Let's go. Keep it moving. I didn't feel anything. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. I didn't say anything. I refer to movies because my first 24 years is really a blackout. So really, most of my story is other people's stories. Even when I go to my grammar school or high school reunion, they bring pictures and they tell me stories because I don't remember anybody. My brother, before he died, whenever I would have a memory, I would call Tony and he would fill in the blanks. Talk about a blackout. I don't know if alcohol talked to you, but it talked to me. And it said, if nobody loves you, I love you. And if nobody wants you, I got you. It's you and me against the world, man. You ain't got to worry about none of this. It's all good, man. We good. See no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil. And I work with a lot of people, and I notice I so much want to be a badass. You know, I listen to y'all stories, be like, yeah, I was all that. I know that as I got older, I lived like Michelle Pfeiffer on Scarface. That's another role, you know what I'm saying? In the movie. But no, I wasn't all that. I didn't need to be. If you knew my family, you knew where I come from, you look at me funny, you ain't got no legs, you ain't got no zip code. Moving on. You ain't got to flex that. You follow me? So I'm into money, property, and prestige, dressing up my outsides. I didn't know I was dying on the inside. What you call a soul sickness? The words y'all use around here is fascinating. And I say that not every alcoholic is a bull in a china store. I didn't make no problems. I made no waves. I didn't have issues with authority figures. I went to Catholic school for 11 and a half years. I said the Our Father and the Hail Mary. I took my communion. I did my confession. I sang in the choir. What? Mommy was a mess. She was a drunk, suicidal, in and out of mental institutions. She was a hot mess. I took care of my tecato, my heroin addict uncles. I watched out for them and told people don't trip off of them. People embarrassed about family members, heroin addicts. I wasn't. I'd be like, he'll be back in a minute. He'll finish the story in a second. Give him a minute. Y'all don't know it. We call them tecatos. You know, they be talking, da 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 da, and they be like, they come back like a half hour later. As I was saying, I'd be like, he'll be back in a minute. Leave him alone, he's fine. He'll finish the story later. I made sure everybody got what they needed. I picked them up from dope houses, cleaned them up. I sipped my drinks until I came into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. Thank God for good sponsorship. I sipped my drinks just like I did in the baby bottle. And of course I make no waves and I don't have issues. I'm an abusee. When you've been abused the way I have, you make sure nobody notices you in the room. I'm not making no noise. What? God forbid you see me. I'm like the Harry Potter cloak, man. So I lived like that for 24 years. I wasn't planning on changing it. I'm into money, property, and prestige. My house looks like Architectural Digest. Everything is in its place. Nothing is moved around. I never questioned that life, folks. I never said it shouldn't be this way. Perhaps it should be different. Something is wrong with the way I live. I do not recall questioning anything about it until the age of 24. And the way I describe it is that alcohol betrayed me, abandoned me, and left me emotionally retarded with no coping skills. And that's a game changer. Incomprehensible demoralization is a whole lot of things. But when you can't get drunk and you can't get sober is the worst place for an alcoholic like me to be. Now, I've been in a lot of abusive relationships. I had a man who kidnapped me from a park. I thought he was my boyfriend. I found out he wasn't my boyfriend watching the Lifetime channel when I was sober. And I called my sponsor. I said, that's not my boyfriend. He kidnapped me. I thought that was my man. And he would beat on me, and I'd be like a punching bag. I wouldn't even cry. I'd be like, you ain't done yet? Can I finish watching the rest of this television program? What you think? Can I see the end of the movie? You're not tired? I felt nothing. But then it came a time that I remember I walked into a bar. I call VIP. You call it bar fly. It's all about perspective. I walk in, I don't have to ask for what I'm getting. You know what I'm saying? My Hennessy's waiting for me. You follow me? All I know is I walk in. I notice you ugly, but I don't trip yet. So I go take me a little sip, and I turn around and I look at you and you still ugly? That's a problem. You know what I'm saying? And then I take another little sip and I turn around and you still ugly. And then not only are you still ugly, I still go home with you? That's a problem. That's a problem, yo. Times have changed. You follow what I'm saying? I've probably been doing that for years, but I didn't notice. You know what I'm saying? But now I started to notice. I remember I walked up and down alleys 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I dare you to come up on me. You know you got to worry about the little people, right? I don't worry about big people. I worry about the little ones. We scary. We come at you. You don't expect us. We walking around like decoy. You know what I mean? You be like, wrong person. I used to go up and down alleys all the time. Now I'm doing that and I'm paranoid. Sorry, folks, I didn't take a paranoid class. And I want to know what's happening, man. I always say I lost my hustle, yo. I'm trying to shake it off and get it together. I'm trying to be all that. I know I'm fake. I'm hearing what people are saying. I'm trying to laugh it off, but I can't shake it off. And I'm starting to feel all the punches and all the harm and the hurt and oh man, my bottom lasted 6 months. Y'all do it for years. And I had always gone into the world of spirit. My dad introduced me to that. And my grandmother, knowing they couldn't do anything about the physical world, but they introduced me to the world of spirit. And it was beautiful there. In the land of the living, lions and tigers and bears, oh my. But now the world of spirit, when you're in that life, man, that's ugly. It's dark. And I wanted the good old days back, man. I like how Dr. Bob says, I'm just trying to get tight, yo. I wanted the good old days back where nothing mattered. As I said, incomprehensible demoralization is a whole lot of things. When you don't notice, it's okay. But now I notice, and I became present for my experience. Game changer. And I'm trying every combination so I can go back into a coma. It was as though I had been living in a coma, and I'm now resuscitated, and I'm present to this thing you call life, and I had never been here. I think that's why babies cry. You know when the baby's born, they be screaming? That happened to me at 24. You know what I'm saying? That's probably why they be screaming. You think so? They're like, they be freaking out, the babies, right? They're probably like, what is happening? That happened to me at 24. I was like, what is happening? I want to go back into the cocoon. Oh my God, it was horrible. Oh, it was so frightening. And no matter what combination I tried, I couldn't. I was still present for my experience, man. That was horrible. That's why I'm not mad at anybody. If you're like intervention or a nudge from the judge or you think there's a problem but it's still working for you, I ain't mad at you. Have one for me. Takes a whole lot to be around here, boy. We have to be done with that thing, man. This ain't an easy program. I got cousins, they chill, they're happy, they're good. They sleep good at night. You know what I mean? They're not tripping. They be like, hey, Terry, one for you. I be like, vaya. I ain't mad at you, you know what I'm saying? Do you, boo? Do your thing, man. You know, I get worried if some of my family members were to become president, they'll probably die instantly. Anyway. You know what I'm saying? To come to that reality is scary. It's scary. I noticed, where's Alejandro? Homeboy Spencer, that guy was awesome. But I noticed what I said afterwards, because he lost his leg. But anyway, he was sharing. But I said, I just remembered, because my uncle lost his legs from diabetes, from drinking, and they told him he needs to stop drinking. And I was like, now? He ain't got no legs. Like, that don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, give him a joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would he stop drinking now that he ain't got no legs? So he can notice that he don't got no legs? That don't make no sense. Oh, Lord. Jeez Louise. Oh, my God. So how did I end up with you? I've continued to say it because I still believe it. I feel like I'm in a witness protection program. I've been abducted by aliens. I'm still tripping off on y'all, and I've been here 35 years. Okay, if you knew, you don't trip out. Did you see some of the people coming in here? Maybe it's me, but I be tripping out. Okay, I be tripping out. I remember when I came into the rooms, homeboy got tats and everything. You could tell he did time, you know what I mean? In prison. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? And he's serving coffee. I'm like, you all right? I was talking about welcome. I'm like, what they do to you, man? Like, like Stepford wives. You know what I'm saying? You've been abducted. Like, you all right? I mean, you want to talk to me outside or anything? You don't trip out off of that? I did. They be in the welcome line. How you doing? Giving hugs. How you doing? I'm like, oh. Something's happening here. Oh, Lord. Woo. Jeez Louise. Talk about a new way of living. I came here because I ended up in a church. I said a prayer. I said, God, please allow me to feel the peace that I feel in this church inside of me. I didn't know that prayer was going to change my life, folks. I didn't even know anything was listening to me. You have a tradition, it's called attraction rather than promotion. My mother was sober and my cousin. And I remembered you people. They were here like 4 years. And thank God they never shunned me, rolled their eyes at me, sucked their teeth at me, or tried to shove a pamphlet down my throat. And I'm so glad you didn't do that. I'm telling you, had you had done that, I would have figured out how to die out there before I proved you right. I'm telling you. I'm so glad they never did that to me. I arrived in California. I thought it was a sober state because that's where mommy and my cousin were. I think California thinks they're the sober state too, you know? That's what I told Dali. I have to go to that sober state, California, from New York City. Now that's a culture shock within itself. California to New York. Still, I've been living there 35 years. You can tell the New Yorker's not out of me. Yeah? So even when I walk around, I go to the store, they're like, you from New York? I'm like, why? Am I being confrontational? I'm really trying not to. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get some milk. You know what I mean? And I don't know how to do that in a way that's non-confrontational. Like, we even did that at Starbucks, right? I'm like, yo, can I get milk? Can I wait? Hold up a second. I was like, oh, man, I don't even know how to do this. Anyway. So it was a culture shock within itself. My mother picked me up. She dropped me off in the rooms, and she left me there because you told her to. She said, this is as far as I can go with you. And she turned me over to the very people who have saved her life. So I describe myself arriving in Alcoholics Anonymous like a baby in a baby basket, left at the doorsteps of Alcoholics Anonymous. I've been adopted by you guys. And it was the old timers that picked up that basket and brought me into the rooms. And South Central, I think God knew where to put me with the hustlers, the liars and the lions, and the cheaters and the cheaters. I got sober at 9604 in Crenshaw and Lano. God knew where to put me, man. Those people scared me, and I've seen a lot. You know what I'm saying? I do. I be joking with them. I'm like, coño, you shoot random people you don't know? I mean, like, that's a whole other level. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen that before. I'm serious. I was like, wow, you didn't even know them. Okay. That's some narcissist. Anyway, I'm like, I'm not messing with these people. You shoot people you don't know. Anyway. I tell you, the coffee's kicking in, okay? They did. They scared me in South Central. They did. They were scary. Anyway. I didn't mess with those people. Many of them were from Skid Row, Skid Row drunks. And they had wet brain. There was a lot of characters in that room. And even though my partner tells me not to say this, that it's not politically correct, but please don't tell me that afterwards. I'm telling you what I thought at the time, okay? I thought everybody in that room was retarded. You know what I'm saying? Now, you would think that I would go, oh my God, I can't be here with these retarded people. Instead, my ego served me. Because I was like, that retarded man got how many years? Where the big book at? You know what I'm saying? Yo, come on, man. I'm a quick learner. You mean to tell me that retarded man lives over how long? This is a piece of cake. You know what I'm saying? I got this. And ain't no way I'm going to take a drink again when that retarded man is still here sober. Who's stupid, him or me? You know what I'm saying? I joke. I have a sponsee. I went to see her in Malibu. She was up in treatment. You see, it's amazing our perception. And I got up there. She was like, these people don't know what they're doing. And they don't know nothing. And they're all stupid. And they don't, I don't believe this. How are they going to make me do this? And they don't know anything. I was like, how much you paying them a month? 30,000? Who's stupid, them or you? How you gonna give stupid people $30,000 a month? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, alcoholics, boy, they stupid? Really? They taking your money? Oh man. Whew. And so in a way that was an attraction to me. I thought they were retarded, but they weren't. They were just keeping things really simple. They told me to follow the black on the white. You know what I'm saying? I thought they were retarded. Look, somebody gets up and they got 20 years of sobriety. They did it here. Y'all don't see that in your meetings? They ask you to read? And somebody's an old timer, y'all don't trip out off of that? I did when I was new. So-and-so, come up and read. They've been here 20-something years and they go, rarely have we seen. Yo, I was like, yo, these people's from the slow bus. There's no way I'm not going to be able to recover. There's a piece of cake. There was a woman named Marcy. I always mention Marcy. She walked straight up to me. She said, hey, baby girl, we've been praying for you. God don't make no junk, baby girl. You deserve to be here. You a child of God. And she took her hands, put it in my face, brought me close to me, and she said, you have a beautiful light inside of you, baby. And we just got a clean house for that light to shine. I still hear her. I hope I can just do a little bit like Marcy did for me. What's fascinating to me is that I believe this woman. A total stranger said something to me contrary to anything I had ever heard. Maybe Daddy and Abuela said it, but it was muffled by all the other noise. But I believed Marcy. And I wanted to know what she saw in me. And they gave me the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and they used to say, keep it simple, stupid. And people called it old AA, Nazi AA, whatever you want to call it. I know that that's the way they talk to me. I don't think they talk to everybody like that. And sometimes they said things from the podium and it was as though they were talking to me. I remember Brother Vernon used to go, what you got to talk about? All you know is what it was like, what it was like, what it was like, what it was like. I remember he used to say that. Maybe you were new. And I began listening to them. And they told me to examine my relationship with alcohol. That lack of power was my dilemma. And I needed to find a power. Where was I to find it? You gave me a hint. Marcy said it. Deep down inside in every man, woman, and child is the fundamental idea of God. It lived inside of me. Now, that might not be a big deal to you, but it was to me. All my life, I've reached outside of myself. Coming up short, coming up short. But y'all tapped into a source of power that cannot fail. And it was inside of each of us. Fascinating. I wanted to know that power. That power that restores broken toys. We're like the land of the misfits, boy. We get to return to our homes like warriors that have been fighting. The war is over. Go home. Be fathers and mothers and daughters and sisters. I've seen it happen. What is that? Is it possible that living just might not be so bad? That these are tools designed for living. They're not homework. They're not exercises. So I put down the drink and I picked up the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, folks. I got no in between. I got no gray area. Maybe you do. Maybe you got another point of reference. I don't. I've always had a higher power. It was called alcohol. I love it when alcoholics or addicts tell me I have an issue with a higher power. No, you don't. No, you don't. Somebody else, you know what I'm saying? But not you, please. It told me when to get up in the morning, when to go to bed at night, where I was going to live, where I wasn't going to live, if I was in a relationship, if I wasn't, if I was going to work, if I wasn't. What are you talking about? That's the higher power. And I have no say-so? What are you saying to me? You're talking about religion. That's another conversation. Chapter to the agnostics. Read it. Trip on it. It's great. I need a power because the power that I had is no longer working. I need a new one. I don't know how to live without one. And I began to practice these principles in all my affairs, all of them. And I became the caregiver to most of my perpetrators and my abusers. The last one that just died was Mommy. I always say when Mommy died, it was like poltergeist, boy. This house is clean. Mommy was a trip. Woo, I tell you. I always joke because Mommy's job was like, you're not that spiritual. Watch this. I'd be like, you know what? You're right. That was her job. It was an honor and a privilege to be of service to my brother, to my uncle, to my father with Parkinson's, my mother. Oh boy, did they stretch my spiritual muscles. We were talking about it in the car. Sometimes I get jealous that people got sober and all of a sudden your life becomes great, right? You get a job and a family and children and a house. Oh my God, it's so beyond your wildest dreams. I never dreamed. What dream, wildest dream? I never dreamed. What dream? I remember one time a doctor asked me, do you have a hobby? A hobby? What is that? My nephews have it. You mean when they play soccer? I met God butt naked alone with a white flag up my ass. And I don't know how to say that any different so you can get the visual. I remember I was at a meeting where they asked you not to curse. It was a PG, Pacific group. I said, sorry, Clancy, you have to say ass. Because, Heine does not give you the visual of what I'm trying to describe here. And I said, God, have all of me, good and bad. What will you have me be? What will you have me do? Make me useful, purposeful. Take away everything and anything that stands in the way of that. We're here for the role that He assigns. And I suit up and I show up. I always hear Ralph in my head. I think you guys have had him. Ralph says, you get a blessing to be a blessing. Sobriety is a gift given to me by God, and what I do is my gift to God. Most of those people in my head that I got sober with, I used to tell them, you guys are brainwashing me. They used to say, your brain needs washing. And so they're a working part of my mind. And each time I took care of my family members, I stretched. And I applied these steps in every moment. Today I am so open and so raw. I've been cleaning house. Where people have been going on and living their life, I've been doing this. An inside job. It's an inside job. It's an inside job. I went back and became a priest in my tradition. I'm the 4th generation. My dad, that was one of the things he was hoping I would do. That's a legacy that my father had. And it's really cute to have my family members that call me, or the next generation. They'll be like, I don't know, Dad told me to call you. You doing something out there in California? It's been an honor and a privilege to be in my nephew's life. My nephews thank you. My father thanks you. My mother thanks you. My nephews are the new generation, the ripple effect that happens around here. I get to use these tools, not just in my life, but I get to pass it on to them. And although it was difficult when my brother died, their mother showed up and said, now get out of our lives. They were already 10 and 14. But eventually she had to call me. That was the hardest thing for her to do. My oldest nephew was homicidal and the youngest was suicidal. But what a privilege it is for me to pass this on to the boys and to see them now that they're 26 and 23 and applying these things in their life. My oldest nephew called me and said, Titi, can I take you to lunch? He was like 16. I'm like, oh, okay, fancy. Gonna take me to lunch, okay. And he said he was drinking and smoking weed. And as usual, I say, what do you want me to do with this information? Well, I know you're going to ask me a series of questions that I need to ask myself. And I did. My brother and I were adamant that we don't tell the boys, well, you know you come from alcoholism. And like, that's like that commercial. This is your brain on drugs. You know what I mean? Like, that's ridiculous. And the only thing that I did say to him after these questions, I'm watching my time. The only thing I said to him after these questions was I said to him, I'm not so much concerned that you're trying marijuana and alcohol, because I do think that people experiment. I don't have an issue with that. My concern is that your concern says telling you something. And my other concern is that your father just died. Your grandfather just died. We used to live in seminary. We were living there for 5 years. My brother became a Lutheran pastor, got his master's in divinity. You were the it kid on the block. Now nobody knows you. You used to be in varsity, now you're in junior varsity. Aside from the fact that you're 16 and you're only dominated by 2 thoughts, masturbation and sports at the same time, that within itself is enough. But you throw all that in the mix, that's a nutty time. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? I used to be like, man, I feel for you, man. You know what I mean? It's hard right now. I know you're confused. Right? Right. So I'm like, so you got that going on plus all of this? That's what concerns me. Because alcohol and marijuana is going to give you the oxygen you so desperately need right now. So I invite you to consider putting that on the shelf for a minute. Let's find some other tools to process all that other stuff. And then you could pick it up later when you don't need it. And I'm so grateful. He's the one that you got to think about it for a minute. And he came back and he ended up actually finding a church. He does celebrate recovery. He did grief recovery. He doesn't like to talk about AA. No, Titi, I don't do AA. Whatever, no problem. Just do whatever you got to do. My youngest nephew, my nephews learned to do an inventory, a sex inventory. They do it more than my sponsees. I was telling them that. When they started looking at girls, I was like, I stay out of that controversy. If you leave it up to me, you can't have sex until you're 90. But I'm going to give you a tool for things to ask yourself. You know what I'm saying? Alcoholics Anonymous did that. And I watched these boys say things like, I love you, I'm uncomfortable, this is awkward, can I talk to you? I need help, I need guidance, I need direction. I'm looking at where am I responsible, where am I at fault? My nephew just told me the other day, something happened to him with a friend, and he called his old girlfriend. They went to lunch or to dinner, and he said, I was wrong for treating you in this way. I did not realize it. Thank you, Alcoholics Anonymous. They're the new generation. And I think they got a cool Titi. I'm cool. I don't care what y'all say. Could you imagine? I'm cool Titi. I could kick your ass and pray for you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know about y'all, but I do. It feels good to me. My nephew's an artist, and he does performances. And when I show up to his school or, the plays or whatever he's doing, whatever he's performing, it really feels good. as opposed to them going, oh my God, here she comes. Instead, they run up to me, oh my God, Humanics is on, da-da-da-da, you know? They be dropping like nuggets like Confucius, you know what I'm saying? And if they're doing too much drugs and drinking, he puts them in the car and plays my CD and gives them my number. So I will say this, I didn't ask you the time, but I should be shutting up in a minute. I've been noticing this. A lot has happened for me in 35 years. Yes, I'm going to school. I just graduated last semester with a double major. I'm taking my master's. That's me and God's playtime. I like God, whatever. That's a story. I wasn't even planning on going there. But I have fun and I like it. Couple things came up for me recently. We're in the role that God assigns. You know, I was assigned these roles and I thought that's who I was. And then when they died, I got confused. My role is just to stay sober and carry the message. That's it and that's all. But there's something that's been occurring to me. Because I've lost a lot of things in 35 years. If y'all listen to some of my CD, that's why he was saying, so what's going on with your nephews? You all right? Are you homeless yet? Like, what's happening? Because I'm so transparent with all my stuff. Some people come up to me, how'd that work out? I'm like, which one? You know? I got sponsees that stay sober just to see me get through the day, straight up. And I do tell them, some of them call, I'm going to take a drink. I'm like, if anybody's going to have a drink around here, it's me. And if I'm not drinking, you're not drinking. You know what I'm saying? But this is something that I'm sitting with this. Things change. Don't hold me to everything. I'm always changing. My father used to say the man who leaves his house in the morning is not the same man who comes home at night. So don't hold me to everything. I do. I tell people, you know what I told you last week? That was deep, right? I know. It no longer applies. I didn't know what I was talking about, but it sounded good last week. You know what I'm saying? It was deep last week. I know, but I found out new stuff. I uncovered some other things. Okay. But for right now, this is what's been going on with me is that I've been hearing this thing being told God does something without my permission. You only hear people say that in the rooms? God does this without my permission. I don't know, I've been hearing that a lot. And so I started asking myself, is that so? I don't think so. Then why would I do a third step prayer? Why would I ask God to remove my fears? It says we are alcoholics, we are undisciplined, so we let God discipline us in the simple way we outlined. I have to let him. This is the one higher power that I finally discovered that needs my permission. A lot of things have been taken away from me without my permission. My virginity at 5, my childhood. I've had jobs taken away, houses taken away. My line of credit is being taken away. I'm watching it every day. It don't matter that I worked hard and that people have died without life insurance and I have to bury them. They don't care. Nobody said, is that okay with you, Theresa? No, not at all. Parkinson's took away my daddy. I don't think he asked my permission, even though I had the power of attorney. But he's already gone, so does he really need my permission? Alzheimer's took away my mother without my permission. Yeah, I took her off the machine, but is it really my permission? She's brain dead. My brother with cancer. My uncle with cancer. My best friend with cancer. My partner who's now completely disabled after COVID, but medical separation because they didn't honor it as COVID. They thought it was pneumonia. And left us medically and financially broken. Did they ask us if it was okay? I don't think so. I have people love me today. Oh my God, Theresa, you're so wonderful. Oh, I just love you so much. And they don't talk to me tomorrow. But there's something that I have that is mine. And you can't take it away without my permission. And that's my sobriety. That's mine. You can call it arrogant all you want. That's mine. That's why I love the traditions. I'm a member because I say I am. You don't have to like me. I don't like you either, but you gotta help me. I'm a member. I have a desire. You need to help me. But I've been saying my sobriety is mine. It's important. If you knew, I don't know, I hope you cherish your sobriety the way I've fully arrived in that with mine. So many things have been taken away from me that I was holding on to. If I could have this house, if I could just pay my bills, if I could just be okay, you know understand what I'm saying? If I could be a daughter, or I could have if I could be a sister, all of it's gone. And all those people who wanted me dead, do you know that they're dead? They're all gone. I want them to love me. You understand what I'm saying? They're dead. I watch them take their last breath. But the relationship that I have with this power requires my permission. And only I get to polish it, nourish it, expand upon it, enlarge it. I get to give it away. And it is only I who will throw it away. And I'm not doing it. Because it's the only thing I got. It's the only thing I got. And what it gives me, it restores my dignity, my integrity, my self-respect. It gives me purpose and meaning and significance. It gives me self-worth and self-esteem. It is mine. And you can't have it. So if you knew, I don't know what you're going to do. You do whatever you want. I get to share with you what I've done and what this means to me. And for that, I'm so grateful and I'm so excited and I get so emotional because everything is gone. But I have this. And it's so precious. And I get to come here and share it with you. That's it and that's all. Thank you.